Welcome to the Chevrolet Sports Car Classic, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Belle Isle is a 982-acre island located in the Detroit River between Detroit and Canada. Today, the TUDOR Championship brings its headlining prototype class, along with its ultra-competitive production-based GT Daytona class, to the island for the 5th event of the season.
Very bumpy, very rugged, and we're going to see some pretty hot action here today.
Racing back on the streets of Detroit here at Belle Isle. There's contact. There's carbon fiber flying everywhere.
He just didn't see it.
This track really can fight. You must stay off the wall.
Sorry, guys.
The traffic, it'll be your friend some laps, it'll be your enemy on others.
Oh,
and more contact.
You can't just be shoving your nose in all the time. Oh, you hit the wall.
Oh, my goodness.
Hard brake zone, and these guys didn't get it right.
Welcome everyone to the IMSA pre-race show with me, Justin Bell, and just look at the Belle Isle Island here in Detroit. It is absolutely spectacular, but over the years, weather has taken its toll many times on the drivers and the cars. This is a treacherous racetrack, yet amazingly enjoyable for the drivers when it's dry. And today, of course, we have the most gorgeous weather. Now, as you know, over the next 25 minutes or so, I'm going to be your eyes and ears as I take a stroll from the back of the grid to the front. Now, as you can imagine, qualifying here is absolutely key. And if you hit it right at the front, you can get a great lap time. And of course, position, track position will mean you have a much easier first stint for sure. Now, I came out here, I wanted to bring special attention to the John Potter Andy Lally Porsche. GTD is the category, the Daytona class. It is filled with a mix of professional drivers and gentlemen, Pro-Am drivers, and of course, this is a highly competitive car that should not be at the back of the grid. Now, I guess the drivers are off having those last-minute water breaks, if you know what I mean, so no one's here, but maybe I'll catch up in a minute. I'm going to move forward. A huge addition, I think, in terms of caliber and quality for the GTD category this year is the Audi R8s. What beautiful racing machines. They've been developed, honed, and made competitive in Europe, and now, of course, we see them here. Hello, yep. Of course, the trouble with me being around racing my entire life is that I get a lot of abuse from everyone out here. I did want to bring special attention over here to the Tommy Dreese car. Tommy is a Hollywood guy. We call him Mr. Hollywood when we were back there. And of course, he always brings movies on the side of his cars to promote them. And I think that's 22 Jump Street. I'm going to head over here because I see Ryan Eversley, who, Ryan, this is the wrong way for you to be. I mean, you've been driving so well this year. You've had a great year. But here, looks like you're being spotter for Andy?
Actually, I'm doing social media for Patrick Dempsey because he's at Le Mans, so Joe and Patrick had me. I came up for a meeting with some teams for some later on this year stuff. But yeah, they said, hey, if you're going to come up here, why don't you run our Twitter account? So follow us on Twitter. We're giving live updates, and I think Andrew Davis and Brett Sandberg, as well as the 58 car, are going to have a good day today.
It's funny because when I think of a body double for Patrick Dempsey, my mind immediately goes to you.
Well, for his Twitter account, because you can't see that. But actually, we got Brett Sandberg, who I posted yesterday. It smells like lavender. So definitely come meet him at the racetrack because he's a good-looking guy, and that's why we hired him.
Smells like lavender. All right, on that note, I've really got to clear out. Okay, let's head over here. So GTD, full of amazing drivers, amazing cars, and close racing. Oh, here we have Brett himself. I'm going to pop over. Brett, of course, asked to step into this car today.
Yeah.
Have you been to Detroit before? You've been to the island?
First time in Detroit. First time in a 991 for me, so I'm super excited. Looking forward to a great race at a new track and a new car.
And of course, you've been getting a lot of experience in different formula. You come into this, but this is the big time. You're up against some of the best drivers in sports cars in the world. Does that factor into your preparation mentally?
Sure, definitely. I mean, strongest competition in North America, so I'm super excited to get a run here. We didn't have the best qualifying, so starting towards the back of the pack, but I'm really excited to get my way up towards the front.
And of course, as you can see, a good-looking guy, so he smells like lavender. It's all going right for him. Good luck, Brett. Let's head over here. Okay. Now, Ferrari. Big fan favorite, and of course, Ferraris run a very stiff chassis. In GTD, they do run slightly softer, but they are suffering tremendously from a sort of lack of low-down torque. And on a street circuit, it's that hard application of the gas on these short chutes that can gain you a lot of time or equally lose it. Now, I'm going to work my way forward a little bit here, because at the top end of the GTD category, of course, we have, along the line of Audis here, we have some, it's incredibly competitive. I'm looking for drivers. This place has gone dark. I think everyone must be thinking it's too warm. Actually, on this Nate, who needs drivers when you have beautiful Momo girls? Do you know I was going to wear one of those today, and I thought, that's another story. I'm going to go. Okay, let's head over here, guys. Hey. Okay, we're getting to the front of GTD over here. Going to go and head and talk to little farmbacker over here. Hey, how are you, Mario? Good, good. So, are you actually popping over to Le Mans?
No,
no. So you're going to stay here in the States now. Obviously, your brother's done so well. You're here now in sports cars. What do you think about Detroit? Because I remember the first time I came here, driving on this street circuit. This is a tremendously demanding street circuit.
I mean, it's an awesome track. I like street circuits, and last year I drove the first time in Singapore, my street circuits in the Asian Carrera Cup. So it's a bit different now with these cars, with a bit more horsepower, and with the prototypes, you have to watch out a bit more. And I like it, really.
Of course, how could you not? Beautiful Porsche and good qualifying. See you later, Mario. Good luck. Again, Ferrari here, but we get up to the top. Cooper, I'll grab him because he's easy to see because he's 9 foot tall. Cooper, we were just talking this morning in the briefings how tough this track is for drivers. We got a little soundbite of you as well. You come to this track, you come off the back of Laguna Seca and you get here. You have to change so much about the way you drive, don't you?
Kind of. Anytime we get in the race car and go on the racetrack, it's always the same thing. Don't hit anything and go as fast as you can. So here, because we're in a street race, it's much more, puts more pressure on the driver because his walls are so close. But the streets of Detroit have been nice to the WeatherTech Porsche so far, and I think we should have a good race.
Well spoken. Well, we're going to see you again in a minute. But remember, when you come to a track like this, there's a lot of anticipation, a lot of speculation, all based on experience or maybe not. And we caught up with some of the drivers when we hear their thoughts on the upcoming race.
The biggest thing about going to Detroit is Motor City. That's where major manufacturers are. You got Ford, Chevy, Chrysler.
It's such a big race for GM. Going there with a Corvette's really special. The track is just in the shadows of the power of GM and everything there.
Street circuits, love street circuits. Detroit's one of the better ones on Belle Isle. It's a pretty place. It makes for some really good racing.
It's a great spot. It's a very traditional road course, and it's got really good history to it. To head down there and do some battle, I'm really looking forward to it.
It's hard not to like a track that you've won at. I won there in GT in 2012 and Daytona Prototype last year. We've gone 2 for 2, and hopefully we can make it 3 for 3 this year.
It hasn't been as kind of a track as it could be.
At the start of last year's race, we had a big crash that hurt our championship chances.
I have really good memories from it. Had a couple not so good memories last year with all the incidents and everything that came after it. We got past it and I learned from my mistakes.
I love heading to Detroit every year because we've got so few good quality street circuits where there's good passing capability. It's actually got a little bit of an elevation change through the turn 1-2 sweeper. It makes for good racing. It's wide enough, and the braking zones are long enough that it promotes really good racing.
That whole turn 1-2 section in Detroit is a very, very fast S. And then the whole back straight, it's got like a little kink that is flat out at 150 miles an hour. It's quite fun going that fast basically in your normal street.
With Detroit being right on the water, the conditions change quite quickly. It's been one of those tracks where you got to get it right, that fine balance of being able to trim out to get down the straights, but also have enough downforce to get through the turns.
I'm interested to drive the track, and I've heard positive things about it, but I'm looking forward to street racing. There's something about having tight walls next to you and being on the street where all the bumps are, and it's a very, very cool atmosphere.
It's one of the fastest street courses we go to. Going back there will be really exciting, especially such an important part of the championship.
We saw some really great racing there last year. And I was really excited when it was announced that the TUDOR Series was going to go back and have us do battle there. So I'm pretty stoked.
What a beautiful skyline as you look at downtown Detroit, and of course the island here in the middle has been the focus of so much amazing racing over the years. And I'm joined by Scott Atherton. I saw you walking by. I had to grab you because really there's a lot of people who went into this, the genetics of what is a baby, effectively. We have to keep reminding ourselves that this is only the 5th race of a championship, of a new entity. You must be very pleased where we are right now. This is way ahead of where I think we thought we'd be.
I couldn't agree more, and you're right. You know, we have to keep it all in perspective. You know, we had to run each respective championship autonomously last year, while at the same time putting the pieces together for this first year of the merger. Couldn't be more pleased. There's an army of people that have been working their tails off, and here we are in the streets of Belle Isle. We have a Chamber of Commerce Day, 2 of the most interesting and competitive sports car classes in the planet with our prototypes and our GTD cars here. You look at qualifying, I think it's going to be a spectacular race.
It really is, and when the fans watch it on TV, of course, I think the broadcast is really putting across the fact that top drivers, ex-game sportsmen, I mean, we're so lucky to have these people and the kind of cars. That really was the dream.
You never know how it's going to work out when you start on a project like this, and if you look at every critical measure, it's at or above our highest expectations. Now, I say that with the asterisk at the end of that sentence that for sure we've had our challenges, for sure we've made some mistakes, I think we've learned from them, but the fans are responding, the teams have already responded, the stakeholder group that we've got here. Sports car racing in North America has never been in a better position, and we're thrilled.
Scott, you've got to get to the front of the grid.
Thanks for stopping.
But now it's out of your hands, by the way. It's in the hands of these guys. Yeah. Let's head past the WeatherTech car again, up to the front. Al Carter, he's driving this beautiful Aston Martin with his most beautiful grid girls. Oh, Al, how are you, mate? All right. So you're a man that does more than double duty on a race weekend, and you get here, are you tired after the World Challenge race?
I did not do the World Challenge race this weekend, so...
So you're not tired?
I am actually, I'm focused.
I read the wrong press release.
No, so this weekend, I've been all committed, all Aston Martin, all TRG, all ready to go, so we've been running fast, and we should have a good race today.
You know, I only came to talk to you because of them.
That's the way everybody is, Justin.
Okay, let's head down here. Okay, beautiful yellow and blue BMW, beautiful yellow and blue Turner Motorsport girls. I think we should run a competition to see who has the most picturesque backdrop to their racing. Ben Keating, do you mind if I just jump in here? Ben,
Hello,
nice to see
JB.
you, of course. Now, let's think about it. Detroit, the home of American motor industry, and yet, in the GTD class, leading the field is, of course, not leading the field, but right up at the front is the Viper. Now, Ben, it must feel so amazing to be representing such a glorious manufacturer and qualifying so well.
No doubt. The front row for the Viper, which happens to be the only American-made car in the GTD class. Not only is it the only American-made car, but every street Viper is actually hand-built right here in Detroit at Connor Assembly Plant. So, extremely exciting to be on the front row and represent the home team well.
And of course, in case you wondered, not only a fast driver, but a man that can sell you one of these pretty quick as well. Yeah, exactly, I hear that. Spencer, I'm going to pop over here. We'll chat with Spencer Pompelli, who I hope, I'm really well actually. Before we even talk to you, we're just going to throw back on video to Laguna Seca, because that must have been just one of those gut-wrenching moments for a driver that it takes a few weeks to get over.
Yeah, definitely it did. And you know, the best thing though to get over a bad race is to get into another one and start from the pole with Nelson driving at the start. Good co-driver, great team. Everything's lining back up though. So hopefully this will be redemption and we can actually get it done this time.
Running out of fuel like that, you know, it's just what happens. We are running in a very fluid, dynamic sport. Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca, one type of track. Come here, get pole position, second pole in a row. Is it better? I mean, this is really the track to be on pole.
Yeah, for sure. It's very difficult to pass here, and our car is good. So if we can get some clean air, we can make a little gap. We'll probably have an easy day. If we get behind for whatever reason, we have to come through the field, it will be impossible. So yeah, pole was very important for us, and you know, the guys are just doing such an awesome job with these new cars. It's making life easy for me. I love driving Flying Lizard.
Well, starting from pole, the number 45, Spencer behind the wheel. Good luck, mate. Now, I've got a very important thing for you to say. Can you say, now Justin Belle drives us around the track?
Now Justin Belle drives this around this track.
There we go, guys. Thank you. Okay then, pulling out of the pit lane here at the Belle Isle track. Pit lane is actually concrete, so pretty easy to get wheel spin as you come out on those cold tires. Very difficult to blend because turn 1-2 combination is so fast when you're actually on a full lap. But of course, all things going well, get up to speed as you head down the back straight. The great thing about Belle Isle track is that as far as racetracks, street circuits go, it's got a pretty good flow to it. Braking points are pretty easy to see as I head down here into turn 3. This is very tight. Of course, hard braking leads to a corner tight right-hander into dab of the brakes, third gear, another right-hander. And when you're driving a street circuit, it's this constant balance between knowing your commitment level going into the corner and where you want to end up on the exit. But this, to me, I hit the wall here in World Challenge 2 years ago. This right-hander here, big bump as you set through the middle, the wall sticks out just like that. And then you head out, let the car trek out as far as you can, and then really get on it. It's super wide, it's like 6 cars wide, but this braking zone down here into this tight little left-right combination is absolutely critical. You can block the guys from behind pretty easily from overtaking, but at the same time you can kind of mess it up for yourself. Tight right-hander, run the curb there a little bit, but you certainly don't want to upset the balance of the car. Through here in the wet is treacherous. You can see there's quite a lot of camber on the track. Squirt of throttle here. My Corvette doing a great job through this double left-hand complex. Balancing it, but this tight little right-hander alongside the river, you can see Canada right over there. A lot of bumps, the car really works around. It's very easy as we go through here for people to try and stick their nose out to overtake on the right, but this is perhaps one of the more demanding parts of the track. Very, very high curbs. You're trying to balance it. When you're on your own, you actually can be really accurate through here, but when you're got people up your derriere, it really isn't that easy. As we come onto the pit straight, this is a very fast, very blind, very difficult corner. A lot of speed as we go across the start-finish line into turn 1. So that was it, a quick lap of the street circuit here at Belle Isle in Detroit. And like all good street circuits, it demands the most out of a driver. You've got to be flamboyantly accurate, if that's even a word. Well, the reason the beautiful Amy is smiling is because it's her birthday today. So happy birthday, everybody. And a lot more. We're heading over here. Obviously, the number 2 car. I'm going to grab Johannes here and Ed. After, you know, this is what fame does you. Johannes and Ed, of course, the last time you saw me, I was an amazing good luck memento. We captured that interview and you went on to win. This may not be so easy here. Tell us why Detroit is such a tough race.
Well, it's a street course, and it really leads to the DPs with their torque and power. But I think the P2s kind of showed them in qualifying yesterday that we'd have some speed. So I think it's going to be an interesting race. I think as we talked last time that it was going to probably go green the whole way, and it did. This one I don't think is going to be quite that so lucky. So then its strategies all start to play in and see what happens.
Of course. And Johannes, you were blisteringly fast at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. It was just such a turning point for the team. Do you come into the next race full of even more motivation?
Well, I think more than anything else, it just proves that if we do our part well, we can run with the best of them, and we have. But one lap's one thing for these P cars, but doing it for 100 minutes is a whole nother thing. So we got our work cut out for us, and Ed's going to do a great job. I plan to do a great job and see what happens in the end.
Perfect. Good luck, guys. I'm just going to pop over here quickly. Memo. Sorry, again, you see drivers surrounded by their fans. Hey, mate, how are you?
Good to see you.
So obviously, big thing for me, I think the story for you guys, obviously you've been fast all year, but racing, representing Ford here in Detroit, that's pretty cool.
It's cool. I mean, we're so happy to be here in Detroit with a Ford engine. And, we have so much support from Ford guys this year, and I mean, they've done a hell of a job. So hopefully we can give them a good result at their hometown.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. Good luck. You've got to get ready for the car. This is the thing, we're starting to get to that point, everybody, where the drivers are really getting on their race faces. They're getting themselves very focused on the job in hand. Now, Wayne Taylor, I'm going to just wait for the camera to catch up with me over here, but over here we've got the Wayne Taylor car, who is obviously very popular with the fans, probably the most socially media savvy driver lineup on the grid. And no one's here. This is the way I love live TV. They're over there right now. This is why we do this stuff. Actually, I can see them all over here. Look, it's like a little, oh my God, it's like a gathering. It's a group. It's a warren of Taylors. So Jordan, you won here last year. That was last 2 years, of course, you won, yeah, in GT and then in Prototype. I'm sure you have let your brother know the secrets to winning, but what are the keys to not messing up at this place?
I mean, it's a street course, so you got to stay off the walls, which I didn't really do in qualifying. So we're back in 5th, but it's a lot about track position because it's so hard to pass. And last year we left the pits in the lead, and that's where we stayed. So our guys have been notoriously good in the pits, so hopefully we can keep that trend going today.
And of course, you don't want your hair to go in your eyes, which leads us, a nice segue, Justin, to the fact that at Watkins Glen, we're going to do something very special for a very good cause. Tell us about it and how you can support it.
Yeah, well, I'm cutting off the mullet finally in Watkins Glen at the 6 Hour next month. And if you go to my Twitter page at Jordan10Taylor, you can find the link to my website to sign up for a raffle where you enter the chance to win some Continental tires or ride in the 2-seater DP around Watkins Glen and to get to cut my hair off. So we're raising money for charity for Camp Bayi Creek and Camp Inakiji. So head to Twitter and sign up.
Of course, Ricky, I've got to shoot because I've got to get to the front, but you need to grow like a huge handlebar moustache or something. Okay, we're going right to the front now, guys. Okay, so I'm going to head right to the front of the grid. Ryan Dial. Ryan. Of course, how are you doing?
I'm just happy you got my name right. That's nice.
What were the Ryan parts easy?
That's true, yeah. No, we're doing good. I mean, obviously, we had it for, well, 30 or 40 seconds there in qualifying, but the car's great. I mean, I think one more lap we could have done it. So I think we have a good race car. It's going to be interesting. I mean, all the cars are close, but how we kind of do these lap times is very different. So track position is key for us. Hopefully a good result for the one guys in Patron here.
And of course, we all thought, I looked away from the TV, qualifying so tight. I mean, you come in the pit, and there's no way to respond. But overall, you've got to say it's just great racing.
No, I mean, it was, what, 0.018. We weren't really that confident coming in here that the track was going to suit us, but the grip levels have been good, and, you know, the higher the grip level, the more competitive we are. But, yeah, I mean, you can't complain. It's DP, P2, DP, P2, DP, top 5, 3, 4, 10, separating the top 5 cars, and people can't complain about that. We got a good race.
Perfect. All right, mate, I've got to get to the front. We're going to head, and, of course, let's grab the pole position car. As you see, Richard Westbrook, the last few seconds of qualifying, just stuffed it straight up in there. Michael Valianti is actually in the car. I'm looking around for Richard. Okay, this is the great thing about my live show. Absolutely no one. Let me see if we can just have a quick look inside the car. As we look in here, we're not really going to be able to chat to him, but Michael's ready to go. Just have a quick look at this. This is what happens. An awful lot of equipment either side of the driver, a lot of prep. That is the seat to be in for the start of this 2014 Belle Isle Grand Prix. It is quite simply one of the best races on the calendar. So, remember, tune in to Fox Sports 1 at 1:30 Eastern Time for the Chevrolet Sports Car Classic, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. I'll see you on Sunday, June 29th from Watkins Glen International for what will be a major race, the Celine 6 Hours of the Glen. You know what, everyone? Enjoy this race. It perhaps is one of the best on the calendar, and I know, and you know, the racing is gonna be mind-blowing. See you soon. Remember, keep fast.